Howdy folks, welcome back to another mile arc. Today we're going to fly across the Caspian Sea. And I apologize for the background noise. It is cold here in Minneapolis, so my heater, my furnace is working like crazy and hasn't stopped blowing all morning. So you're probably going to hear that in the background a little bit. You won't notice it though until it turns off, and then you'll notice it missing. But anyway, what are we doing today? Caspian Sea. We're going to start at Union Tango Alpha Kilo, which is, I'm going to try my best, is Turkmenbashi Airport in Turkmenbashi, Turkmenistan. I think I got that close. Then we're going to fly pretty much due west across the sea to the closest airport, which is Uniform Bravo Bravo Bravo, which is, hey there, Aliyev International Airport in Baku, Azerbaijan, something like that. And then, not in order, but then I think we're going to stick with this plane, future flights, and just kind of head west. I'm just going to find some airports that go between mountains and head west. If you want to look at a map, you'll see what I'm talking about. Otherwise, you'll see the flights when they happen. We'll mix some other things in between. But this flight and the next one are going to be with this plane, kind of in that direction. So that's pretty much all there's to say. I love this beautiful landscape, though. It's brown, but not in a bad way. A lot of times you associate brown landscape with boring, but it isn't. Flying across the mountainous desert in the south. The United States, for example, is gorgeous. There's no greenery at all. It's brown, but it's very attractive. So anyway, that is about it. We've seen this airplane before. We've flown it recently, so hopefully I can get through it without too much stumbling around. So let's hop inside and let's get this thing going here. It's about 8:30 a.m. sim time. We're going to try to take off by 11 or so. So what do we need to do first? First we need to do weight and fuel. What is the flight? It is about 87 nautical miles. So let's do that fuel. That's going to be kind of close, but let's do it. Real world weather is turned on. Both here and our arrival location should have suitable weather. And, 9:30 in the sim. So I'm going to try to take off 9:45 or 10 or so. All right, so there we go. All right, parking brake needs to be set. And generator, first of all, let's hide these guys. Generator, turn that on. Battery, turn that on. Make sure the 3 landing gear lights are on. The barometer and weather. So, what I'm going to start doing, that won't work in this flight, but I'm going to start using the ATIS. I figured out how to use it. It's super obvious. You just make sure COM1 has the ATIS when they give you one. There's no ATIS listed here. However, if there were, then we would use it. And that way we'll get our active runway. So we got to calculate our own active runway. So, wind is 260 or from 260 at 10 knots. Barometer's 3009. So let's first set our barometer here to 3009. Actually, that's going to be it. Yeah, right there. So, take away the 0, 26. Closest runway to 26 is 34 right, because 260 to 340 is about 80 degrees. 260 to 160 is 100 degrees. That means the wind would be 100 degrees off crosswind. This would be 80 degrees off crosswind. So we're going to use 34 right. We'll have a little bit of crosswind. We'll see how this plane handles it. So 34 right is going to be this one. Don't know why it says right and left, but it does. So I set us up here just to taxi this way. Piece of cake. Very simple. Reset the flight controls. I just do that whenever I plug in my stuff and come back here, make sure rudders work. Yes, they do. Carb heat needs to be pushed in. There we go. Cowl flaps open, which means they should be in. They're always halfway for some reason. Strobe and position lights, I think, are over here, and they are. Close the canopy. There we go. And I think our dome light works, which is super cool. And mixture rich, which is pushed in. Props in for low pitch. Throttle quarter. Check the fuel gauge, which, how come I'm forgetting where that is already? Over here. Check that fuel shutoff is pushed in, which shutoff is actually a switch down here. I just make sure that thing's pushed in. Fuel pump on, which is over, well, I know it's over there even though we can't really see it, and push the electric starter. And we're rolling. Because that's what happens in this airplane for some reason, is it rolls on you. Let's bring that throttle back a little bit. Oh, it's torquing maybe. Maybe the wind is making it, interpreting it or something to be torquing. I don't know. I mean, it makes sense if it torques, right? But that's a lot of torque. I don't know, maybe that's real. Alrighty, fuel pump off after engine run smoothly at 800. Will it run smoothly at 800? It will. Fuel pump can come off. Gradually increase to 1200 for engine warm up. And there we go. Must decrease after oil temperatures 150 or 105. Having a hard time figuring out what it means. I think there's a typo, but I'm not sure. So 105 would be like right after the red line. 150 would be there, obviously. Let me just bring the RPMs down. We'll sync the gyros. I don't think we need to. Oh, they did sync. The gyros did sync. I mapped that to Y on my keyboard. That is real life, by the way. Every 20 minutes or so, you have to sync your gyros, if that's what the airplane does. Some airplane like the B1900E is not a problem, but OIZs, you have to sync your gyro to your whiskey compass. All right, make sure flaps are up. We can do that by looking out the window. That's the only way to tell. There's half and there's up. Let's see. Hydraulic power on, and it is because the light is on. And then you lean mixture to taxi. So here we go. How's the temperature going? See, that temperature is already climbing up there. So we're going to decrease RPMs. Come over here. And is the canopy closed? It seems pretty loud. No, it's fine. Okay. Decrease the mixture so we don't foul it up. Release the parking brake. And let's taxi through the end of this runway. I think we're going to taxi inside today. We normally don't do that. But, pretty simple. So on this aircraft, you take off with flaps up unless you really, really, really need them. And then you can take off at half. And then you land with flaps up unless you really, really need them. Then you land with half flaps. You can land with full flaps if you really, really need to, but on this aircraft, you hardly use them. At least that's what the manual says, the POH. So anyway, we're just going to head down to the end of this, and I'll see you at the end of this runway. Alright, let's pull on to the end of this runway here and get ready to go. You can see the windsock is just, we're going to have pretty much a crosswind from the side. I mean, regardless, we can't help it. Let's see. Can I see my landing lights from here? Nope. Yes, I can. Turn those on right now since we're pulling onto the runway. And then we will stop here before we actually take off. Let's stop right here and set the parking brake. And it sounds like my wife dropped a dish upstairs, if you're wondering what that sound was. We're not going to do a run-up today. We did one last time. Landing lights on. Fuel pump confirmed on. Dome light is off. Note the time on the clock. Is there a clock in here? I thought there was. Right here. What does it say? It says 8:40. So that's where we're going to take off. Rich if below 5,000 feet. So we're going to make the fuel rich, flaps up or half. Let's use flaps up. We have a long runway, full throttle. We have a minute to use full throttle. And then we're going to pull back at 60, take off at 70. Then once we're in the air, we'll do gear up. Raise flaps, doesn't apply. Hydraulic control off. Fuel pump off. Climb at least 80 miles per hour. And then within a minute, bring props back and throttle back, which we'll review this climb list as we're climbing. So here we go. Feet on the pedals, heels on the floor, full throttle. Oh, I said pedals. There we go. Pedals. Oh my gosh, I have full right rudder and it's barely going. This wind is terrible. Oh, this wind is awful already. There's 60. Let's pull back and it'll take off at 70 all on its own. Oh my gosh, now we got to release some of the pressure on the pedal. Oh my gosh, look at this crosswind. Look, I'm centering the ball and we're dogtailing like crazy. Gear up. Flaps are already up. Hydraulic power off. Look how it's interpreting this crosswind. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Look at this. See, that's the thing. 10 knot wind, but it's acting like we're in a hurricane. All right, let's climb at 80 knots at least. There's 95. Oh my goodness, this is hilarious. All right, what's next on the list? Fuel pump off at 1,000 AGL. We're almost there. And climb at least 80 knots. There's 80 right there. Within a minute, props back to 22 and manifold back to 27. So let's turn off our fuel pump now. Let's put our yokes back in. And we need to, if I remember right, where is our props and our manifold? Hang on, let's straighten out first. Props are here, but where's your manifold? Where's your manifold? Over here. Okay, so we're gonna try to do this. There's 27 and 20. We're turning like crazy. Come on, this wind is really making this a challenge. Can I see it from here? No, yeah, whatever. Let's go like this. 22 and 27. Come on. There's 25 on the manifold. There's 27 on the manifold and 22 on the props. There we go. Let's double check. That's super fast. 26 and 22, close enough. Here we go. Oh my gosh, I have my yoke almost all the way to the right. Almost all the way to the right. And now we're finally going straight. Good grief. We're climbing at 80 knots. And step on the ball a little bit. Okay. Cruise, keep checking prop and manifold pressure. Lean mixture to smooth engine operation. If fuel pressure drops, turn on fuel pump. Open and close cowl flaps. Maintain good cylinder head temperature. That would be cylinder head temperature right here. We'll keep an eye on that. Although we've never needed to. I think it's just something you can do. And our props are good. Our manifold is okay. We can goose it a little more, but we're not going to. I'm having a heck of a time trying to keep this thing straight. I have so much right early on in just to go straight. Anyway, we're going to keep landing lights on. We're going to fly at like 6,000 feet or maybe even 7,000 feet. Let's have a look outside, and then we're going to tune in a VOR. There is actually a flight plan. I guess I failed to mention that. We do actually have a flight plan. We're not just going to go over the ocean or over the sea and hope for the best. We do have an idea, but I just want to check out this. I love the hills along the water. I'm taking screenshots, by the way. That's why this thing is flipping on you. Look at this terrain. It's just so awesome and so pleasant to look at. And then there's the sea right there. All right, so what are we doing? We are going to leave VOR 112. So I gotta, let's see, we can do autopilot. So let's do autopilot. I think I have an autopilot. Yeah, let's do heading bug. So let's get our heading bug straight for right now until I can doggone. Oh, where's my dealio? Oh, heading bug, I have to set it on that. So what are we're at what? Let's do 270. So we gotta sit 27 on here. Gosh, we're turning all over the place. It's so hard when you can't look at your six-pack while you're doing this. 270, and we're gonna do one more. Heading. There, heading at 270. Now I can let go, and it's gonna take us to 270. So now we're doing pretty much due west, like we should have been. There. And then we're going to trim down. Oh, that disabled it, didn't it? Stop. Okay, that was weird. There's no alt. There's an alt hold. Well, I don't want alt hold. I want to maintain. What does that do? Oh, that pops it out. What? Or does that like lock us to our current heading? Oh, pitch trim. Oh, pitch trim. There we go. Oh, that popped that up. Go away. There we go. 270, and now we're at 80. Perfect. Or like 90-ish. Whatever. Good enough. Nice. Okay. Whew. Now the autopilot is going. I can actually do what we need to do here. Okay, so let's hide this again. We are leaving. I should have done this first. I know. We are leaving 112.3. Here's nav. So we're leaving 112.3. At 276 degrees. So I have never used this before. Where's my VOR card? Oh, it's up here, right on top. Okay. So 21 for, what was it, 276. So there's 270. Gotta zoom way in on this. 270, because that's 280. So 276 is gonna be right there. There we go. So now we have to go to the right. So let's come over here and move this to the right a little bit, kind of aggressively. And then when this starts to line up, then we move it to 276, because I don't see, oh, that what track does. Does track do the VOR? What I was just gonna do is I was just gonna use the heading bug thing and just stay on task with that, with the heading bug. But maybe I should maybe I should use track. I don't know what track does. Anyway, we're 6,000 feet. At 7,000 we'll level off and do alt hold, and then we should get some more speed. And then we'll get cracking here. I forgot what was in here. Was this that record player? Which I can't let play because I don't want to get like a music strike, which I've had happen before when I've played music in airplanes. So if I can, I'll put my own music in there with the file, but that's not an option in this. So anyway, while we're figuring that out, let's make sure our temperatures are okay, which they are. And that one is a little toasty. It's a little toasty. So, oops, I totally blew right through my altitude. No, I didn't. So, did I say 65 or 7? Doesn't matter. I'm too busy looking at this other stuff. So when this starts to line up, I'm going to try that track thing. If that doesn't work, then I'll just use the heading bug just to keep us lined up with this. And it does say 2, which I don't know why, because we should be going away from the VOR. If I spin this around, can I do this faster? It's going to just stay 2, right? Yeah, even though I guess we're parallel to the VOR. That's why it says 2 probably. And we'll go back to 276, so there's 246 right there. Alright, now that we really blew through altitude, because I was too busy playing with other things, let's do alt hold now. That'll speed us up. I'll keep an eye on the cylinder head, and I'll keep an eye on the oil temperature. And then obviously manifold pressure and props are not an issue right now. So the only thing is, I gotta figure out when we're gonna line up with this thing. And then once we lose it, there's an inbound VOR that we're going to use at 270 based on the weather. Oh, and then the landing will be visual based on the weather. So visual landing, but the runway will be based on the weather. And I think there's ATIS where we're going to test that out. Now this is something that's funny. Look at the reflection of the wheel here. But watch, it's still there. Creepy. So anyway, I'm going to keep an eye on our systems here. And when it's time to do something about this VOR, we'll do it together. But until then, let's have some sightseeing. Alright, I think I made a huge mistake here. I was putting the 27 on top, and we need to put the 27 on the bottom, or the 276, 246. That makes sense. You know why that makes sense for a bazillion ways? One, when this arrow was up there, so this would be like your back course, but you can't see. So there we go. Now it says from, and now it's to the left, because I'm like, the VOR should be to the left, and it should be going away. And I pull up the map. VOR is to the left, and we're going away. See this? So That was just my mistake for not knowing how to use airplane. This is the very first time we've used this airplane like this. But now we have to make adjustments here. So now we need to aggressively turn this way. Well, not too aggressively, but we're going to be aggressive just because I want to try this track thing. So now once that arrow moves, I'm going to try track. I don't know what this stuff means. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll stop my recording and look at the manual. But anyway, now we're getting back on track. No pun intended. And look at those props spin up when we turn like that. That's crazy. Alrighty, let's bring them back. Manifold pressure's still fine. I guess I can goose the manifold a little bit to 27, right? 27 and 22 are the numbers. There's 20, well, that's full throttle and is only 22. So now I'll just keep it track of the temperature, which is in the green again, and the cylinder head, which is in the green. And I'll keep an eye on those. So back to sightseeing for you. I just want to tell you what I was doing because that was a major mistake and a major change. I'll keep an eye on the temperatures in the systems while you get some sightseeing, and I'll catch you in a little bit. Alright, and it looks like we blew through our VOR because I was so busy sightseeing. So let's try this now. What if we do track? I'm hoping that means it'll track the VOR. I did read the manual while we were flying around, both the operating manual and the guide, and I saw nothing about the autopilot other than you can click it and it pops out to be closer to you. That's the only thing I saw. So I can only assume that off means off, manual means you can manually turn your elevators here. Heading is a heading bug. Capture, like a glide slope maybe? Maybe that's capturing a glide slope, like an ILS. And track would be tracking a VOR. That's what I'm hoping. This holds your altitude, obviously, and this is part of the pop-out. That's what I'm guessing. We'll find out. Because if it'll need to turn back when we get closer to this. If it does, then that's what track means. If it doesn't, then that's not what track means, and we'll try capture. So, we're going to find out together here in a moment. I'll update you on that in a bit, after I let you sightsee for a little bit more. And I forget to mention, this is going to be an extremely long flight. It's 100 miles, and that's miles per hour, and we're doing 125, so it's going to be over an hour because we zigzagged away from the VOR. But anyway, yeah, looks like we're about to keep up on that. I'll let you know later if this actually lines us up with it. And temperatures are good, I think. Yep. Alrighty, sightseeing for you, and I'll update you on any changes I needed to make to capture this VOR. And once we lose it, we'll tune in the next one together. I'll see you in a bit. Alright, we just crossed the halfway point across the Caspian Sea. Let's pop outside and see what we get to see here. Nothing but sea. All we see is the sea. Kind of funny if I say we see nothing, because the water is something, right? Just like when we say there's no weather, even though there's always weather. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get some screenshots here. Possible screenshots for the thumbnail. Looking good. Alright, well, I can kind of see land over the tail. And you might be able to see land off the nose. Just depends on the hilliness. No, nothing. Alrighty, so the VOR, so track does track the VOR because we've been tracking it perfectly, and I've been hitting Y on my keyboard to sync the gyros over and over. And I remember that Y is something I set up to sync gyros. And we're still picking up the VOR. If we do lose it, I already put the other VOR in the standby for the nav. I did that off camera. But there you go. Track is tracking the VOR. I have the heading bug set too. So if we lose the VOR, I can switch over to heading for right now. Or, you know, heading in between. And then we'll flip the radio and go back. But we shouldn't have to. We will switch to it pretty soon though. Actually, maybe we should anyway because we're halfway. Let's do that. Let's do that right now. Then I have something else we really need to talk about. So let's go to heading, and then that should really be 270 actually, kind of ish. And then let's come back here and let's flip this. Let's make this 270 on the nose. See, there's not much of a change and there shouldn't be. Now let's go back to track, and now we're going to track the inbound VOR, which is Baku, which is just south of the airport. So the plan is to there it is, to follow this VOR now to Baku, and then once we get to the VOR, we should look to the right and we should see the airport, and then we'll land visually based on the weather. So what we can do is get our destination weather already. No, we can't. Well, yes, we can. It just popped in. So let's go here. And do we have an ATIS? We do have an ATIS. So in our comm, let's tune our ATIS to 126.8, 126.8. It already is. So let's put it in use. And we should be able to hear it sometime. I tested it and it worked. Isolate, that would be isolate from everybody else. This is COM 1, right? Or is this COM 2? I assume this is COM 1. Let's turn them both on just in case. So maybe we're too far away. I don't know how that works in the simulator, because let's just double check. ATIS 126.8, 126.8 COM. COM is lit up, which means that's what's going to sound. For example, if we did this, we should hear the beeping. Let me make sure my sound is turned back up. Yep, ATC messages and text and radios are up. So, with the right frequency, 126.8, and the COM turned on, and this should be COM 1, but I put it in both just in case, we should pick up the ATIS. Now, what I was saying is in the sim, I don't know if there's a range in the sim, or if it's just, it works all the time. I tested this, like I said, well, it was in another airplane, but I did test this, and COM 1 lit up to the ATIS. Why are we losing? What are we losing? We're losing something. We're losing something. Nope, 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 nope. Nope, nope. Let's go back to heading. Let's just use our heading bug. Did we lose the VOR? We couldn't have lost the VOR. It's picking it up. I'm having weird autopilot issues. It happened in the B1900 as well. Not sure what's going on, but we lost it. So let's just use our heading bug. Because if we lost it, we'll just go over here with the flag. So we're still on track with the VOR. We didn't change this on accident. Let's try it again. Let's see if it'll re-engage. Or no. Well, there you go. Nice. Okay, there now it re-locked to it. I don't know, just gotta keep an eye on it. Just have to disengage whatever you're tracking in the autopilot and redo it. It's happened to 2 different airplanes now, multiple times. Weird. But anyway, despite talking about the autopilot goof up again, and despite talking about the ATIS, we have a bigger problem that might make all that stuff moot. look at our fuel. We might run out of fuel. So I was thinking, I mean, we're only halfway. Well, we're almost there, but I could just go up to fuel, right, and add fuel. Just be like, hey, I did add fuel. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let it go. And if we crash because we ran out of fuel, we crash because we ran out of fuel. And that's my mistake, because in real life, you're not going to refuel this plane in the air, right? So we'll see if we make it or not. We've never run out of fuel in a flight sim video. So, otherwise everything else is fine. After flipping that off and on again, or over and back again, we're tracking the VOR again. We have ATIS tuned in, so maybe it'll turn on when we get closer, or maybe it just won't work. Like I said, I tested it, but I was on the ground at an airport when I tested it, so we'll see. That being said, let's finish getting our destination weather in case we don't run out of gas. And what do we have? We've got conditions 120 at 6 knots. 3009, so let's get a barometer. I think it's already 3009, but let's check just in case. 3009 already. So the barometer stays. Take off a 0, something close to runway 12. 16 and 17 are pretty darn close. Now imagine that this is 16 and that's 17. So let's aim for 17, because then our wind is only off, 30 degrees. It'll be from the right. No, it won't be from the left, because it's 120, not 220. Be from the left, 30 degrees off. So it'll be like this. It'll be fine if we make it. I don't know if we're gonna make it. This should be 16. That'll be 16, 17. Sorry, 16, 17. We'll take 17. Wind will be. What am I trying to say? Well, this is more into the wind, but. We'll see. We're not even going to make it. We're not even going to make it. This will be more into the wind, but this is a smaller runway. We'll leave this big aircraft. We'll just pick one. I don't really care. So we're going to kind of go to this VOR. Then we're going to do a traffic pattern. Either this way, or this way, or we might end up landing here. What's that? UB18. We might end up landing there if we don't make it to this one. We'll see. I don't think we're going to make it to either, but just in case. That's our plan. Plan A is that. Plan B is crash in the water. Plan C is we land on that little island right there. That little tiny island. Right there. I mean, our destination is right here. And there's, I don't know, we'll see. We might have to ditch for that island. I don't know. We will figure it out. Yeah. I guess I can lean mixture a little bit. That might help us. Save some fuel. I could gain altitude. That would help us save some fuel, I think. But I don't know. Anyway, that's what we're doing. I want to keep an eye on this autopilot so it doesn't screw us up again. I'm glad I didn't screw up earlier, because I actually stepped away, because we've been flying for almost an hour. I stepped away for like half an hour to go do something else. I'm glad autopilot didn't screw up during that time. Good grief, that would have been frustrating. But anyway, I want to keep an eye on things here. You get a little bit more sightseeing, and then I'll catch you when we start to descend or when we run out of fuel, whatever comes first. We'll see. Catch you then. Well, look at that. Our ATIS just kicked in. So there we go. Wind obviously matches the little pop-up thing. And it says, I'll let you listen to it, although you can barely hear it.
Wind 120 at 6. Visibility more than 10. Sky clear. Temperature 18. Dew point 14. Altimeter 3009. Arriving runway 16. Departing runway 16. Advise on initial contact. You have Zulu.
Alright, so 16 it is. So if we can make it, we'll take 16, which is the longer runway. So that'll be easy enough. Let's flip that over so it goes away. And okay. We'll see again at descent time or crash time. And sudden dead silence. I was expecting it to like putter out, but nope, that was sudden silence. So we're going to try to land. So I don't think we are going to make it even to this little island, but we're sure going to try. So what I was listening for was a sputtering to kick back into my narration, but all of a sudden I was chucking something out for another flight, and all of a sudden I'm like, the sim went silent. And here we are. So we're going to try to land on this little island here, I guess. Oh boy, things are getting nasty. And I suppose if we go to the left, then we veer to the right, we can get a little tailwind. Well, as right now the wind is going to push us to the right. Do we get wind sounds? Yeah, we do, but it's so faint. What are we at? What speed? Oh, we don't want to stall either, so we gotta, I guess we can go pretty slow. I don't have flaps yet because I don't want any drag. We're coming down at 800 feet per minute, so we are descending rather quickly. We're at 6,000 feet, so that gives us about 9 minutes or so before we touch down. We will put gear down at the last second, and we will put flaps down only if we really need to. We'll see. We're going to keep our speed here. I'm using pitch for speed. So I want to keep our speed. Let's actually slow down a little tiny bit. Let's stay about 75. You know, that's our flaps down, touchdown speed, but we're going to do the best we can. We do not have an emergency checklist. I guess we could squawk emergency, but we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to try to land on that island. This is going to be very interesting, and I'm not going to do any sightseeing because then I'll get thrown off and we'll either pitch up or pitch down, and then we'll lose any potential that we may have had of landing. Yeah, we're just about to stall with flaps up because I got the yoke back pretty far. Yeah, alrighty. We do need to get our hydraulic pump on though, so when I do use flaps and gear, we can. So I'm just riding this one out, folks. Too bad, too, because that other alternate airport was right here where the mouse is, right on the edge. But there's no way we're going to make it that far. So if we pull up our VFR chart, that is stored behind the seats. We're going to try to make it to this island. Then we'll just have to call for help. There's no way we're going to get off that island. So here we go. I think we can make it. But we're not putting gear down until the last second, because if we put it on early, it'll cause drag and we won't make it as far. And two, if we hit the water, we don't want the gear down. So we're just going to ride this out. I'm going to try to keep my speed about where it is, even though I'm pulling really far back on the yoke because we're about to stall. Because remember, flaps are up. But we're just going to ride this out. I'm actually going to the left quite a bit so the wind doesn't push us too far to the right. I was going to land left to right, but actually I have a feeling we're just going to try to land anywhere. So it'll probably be straight on. It'll probably be a straight on landing. Fewer trees that way, it looks like. Suddenly that island seems really far away, doesn't it? Seems so far away. But we're going to do it. I'm pretty confident we can make this island. I'm just worried about misjudging it and falling short when I could have made it. But I'm also worried about going too far too late, so we can't circle back and we'll run into those trees. Maybe we'll aim for that road right there. Maybe. Right now I'm aiming for the like deserty like landscape in front of us, even though that road would probably be better, although you're obligated to impact as few as people as possible. So if you're going to crash into traffic versus crash yourself into the desert, you're supposed to crash yourself into the desert. That's my understanding of the law. I don't know, that road would be a lot safer, but I'm just worried that if we are too high and I decide I need to circle back, we're not going to be able to circle back. And then we'll land in some trees or that water over there. Well, we're definitely not going to land in the water on the other side of the island. There's no way we're making that far, but I don't know. Not sure. It's hard to judge. It's hard to judge where we are. But I'm keeping it very... See, back here looks like we're way too high and we're going to overshoot. Here looks like we're not going to make it. See? Doesn't that feel like we're not going to make it? Oh my gosh. This is scary. All right, let's get gear down, I think. Gear is working, right? I can't even hear anything. Is gear working? Oh, gear won't even come down because we don't have any engine pressure and stuff to operate the hydraulics. Oh no, is there a manual gear? Is that the manual gear thing? Huh. Okay, maybe there's not a manual gear thing. Alright, well, we're just going to land on this road and scrape it all up. Darn it, I was really hoping gear would work and then we can land on that road. Because that'd be awesome. Instead, we're going to shock everybody here. Alright, we're going to get flaps down in a second. Where are we? Oh boy, see, now I feel like we're too short. Now I feel like we're coming up short. Let's get first set of flaps down, which you have to look out here to see. Oh, flaps aren't going to work either because we don't have any hydraulic pressure, so we're just going to stall out because we're going way too slow now without flaps. Wait, now everything's working. Now the gear's down. Now the flaps are down. Okay, here we go. It's going to be rough. We're sinking fast. But we can do this. I can't really see the road. Oh, it's going to be rough. There we go. Looks like we have gear down. We have gear down. Brakes, brakes, brakes. Don't hit that house. Boom, there went the wing. I didn't expect us to veer left when I touched down. Oh my gosh. Shoot. That would have been better if I didn't veer left. Are you going to stop? Nope. Okay. Brakes aren't working. Brakes don't work. That's okay. Parking brake should work though, right? Parking brake isn't working. Okay. Everybody good? I apologize that it was a rough touchdown. But I don't know if flaps ever did come out. See, flaps didn't come out, yeah. Flaps didn't come out, so we stalled kind of at the last second. But that's okay. We're all fine. A little bit of excitement, everybody. A little bit of excitement. And sorry about veering to the left, and I hope that person... I hope I didn't ruin their sighting too much. Because that was hilarious. Well, anybody have a phone so we can call and get our plane fixed, and we'll just use the road as a runway to get going to the next destination? Can we do that? I don't know. We'll have to wait until the next video to decide how this works. No matter what, though. Hopefully you enjoyed our little flight, our little scare. And that's it for me. No sign off today. We're out of here. We got to find a phone and a bathroom and maybe a change of clothes. And I'll catch you next time.